Okay, here we have a typical Zildjian cymbal, pretty used up. What's going on here? Alright. Yeah, it's it's cleaned already. I already cleaned it with the Zildjian Cymbal Cleaner right over there. And didn't do much. I mean, it did a little, but not what I expected. So I'm bringing into the game a Blaster presents Kenny Chesney's Next Big Star, Brother Trouble. Okay. This is called, so many things on here, can't even tell what it's called. Revolutionary Penetrating Magnetic Lubricants, Breaks Loose Faster, the original nut and bolt buster. Okay, it's called the Fabulous Blaster. It's like the original WD-40, I think. Okay, problem with the Nikon, battery always dies. So I'm using my Sony Sport Cam. So I can't see what I'm doing because there's no viewfinder. Anyways, we'll just put this here on the side, and what I'll show you is how well the paint thinner or the Blaster, Fabulous Blaster liquid, which is like a WD-40, works on cleaning something like this. So I guess we'll just leave the camera here, and probably getting a good 360 of the whole room anyways. Okay. So let's get started. Paint thinner. I mean Zildjian polish, which you want to put into little beads. Maybe 4 or 5 little beads around the cymbal, like so, and then begin rubbing in a circular motion. And I'll be back to show you. I want to bore you with the details. Yeah, one thing I should mention is avoid the Zildjian. You see, I bought it like this. I wouldn't have ruined the sign there. The the printed on. Let's see there. Right, they help if I open it. And you want to apply more beads after you've done the center around the edges. That's really the part that gets the most dirty. Little beads like this. And of course, like I said, avoiding the insignias, letting you know what kind of symbol it is. Although Zildjian does have a stapled, I'd say, cutout over here which says Zildjian. Anyways, I'll be back. What you do, you rub it in pretty hard, but you want to leave a nice thin film on there, a nice thin film to let it dry a little. You don't want to leave a thick film, a nice thin film. Okay, so look at that, all that gunk, that dark matter that, in my opinion, destroys the sound of the cymbal, the integrity of the crispness, the nice ching I like. The jazz drummers would love the sound that this cymbal has. And you know what, I should have shown you before I actually cleaned it. Let's see if it comes close. You've got the gunk on there, but just to give you an idea. See, it's a dark sustained, very dark sustained cymbal. which I don't particularly like. I like cymbals like this, listen. Higher pitch. You see that ring? That ring, this cymbal's rather dark sounding. It's because of all the material over the years that is collected on there. Alright, now we'll go to the next step. Take another tissue, nice and dry, nice and clean. We're just going to leave it there for about a minute. We'll start with the center where you started off. You see you get a nice, see all the blackness coming out. And do we have enough light? Let's see. Is this better? So you see all the blackness coming out. Lightly on the insignia. You still want to clean it, but not pull the name off. You see there? Oh, it's dragging the blackness to the side. You want to keep changing around the tissue, get a nice clean area as soon as you've got enough black. Otherwise you're just pushing the gook off to the side. Okay. You see? Keep turning the tissue. The napkin. You always get finger marks on there. Jesus. Alright. You see the difference here? You see that? Look at that. Beautiful. But wait till you see what the paint thinner or the blaster or WD-40 does on top of this. You don't want to let it sit there too long because the cleaning action does not really get the best of the bronze out. See, kind of dry there. You know, we have to do the edges at least twice because it's very, very dirty. So you keep finding a clean area. I don't recommend you use a cotton t-shirt or a towel because you run out and you'll ruin that towel regardless. So you get a nice package of you know, napkins, Publix or Walmart, probably $2.50, $3 maximum for like 400 sheets, and you won't go through all of them, of course. You'll still have some left over for the family. Now you see the edges are really the roughest portion that have been basically ruined. The beauty has anyways. Like I said, a lot of jazz jammers would love that sound. So keep turning, keep turning. See, there's always this blackness, and that's what the paint thinner comes in and takes care of. Lightly over that. Still cleaning. Very lightly. You see? Now let's take a look. Everything without the light. See if we can get a good look at that. Right, let's hear this. Sounds better already. I'm going to do another coat on the side and do the back. Look at that. Let's do the back on camera because this is important. Look at this. Really going to focus on the edges here. Little beads throughout. Now this is really going to change the sound of the cymbal. That's really carrying the weight of the cymbal there. You know, the the bell tones are in here, and the ringing, the overtone sustains are right here. So that should really improve the cymbal. See, fresh, clean napkin. And you want to try to use a very small rubbing area. If you use the whole towel or napkin, whatever you have, it'll grab that and you lose the consistency of the rub. So you want to make a small circular area. Keep the rest back, then you could save it for continuing to clean throughout. And I know there's grooves here. You can go with the grooves, but I find it more effective to go in circular motion. Fortunately there we lost that through whoever owned the cymbal before. You get great deals on new cymbals here. You know, a cymbal like this, used, you can find at a pawn shop for maybe $150, $200. The cymbal new might have been about $250. This is really considered their first 8 customs. It's before they went into various options, when competition wasn't as strict. Now here, you don't want to continue using one portion of the napkin, because you've still got all that solution on that tiny little spot, so you really want to try to save that. If you use the dry portion like you do when you're actually taking this off, you will be losing out and you'll be getting a lot of dry spots. You don't want it dry, you want it nice and thin, yet moist. So the dryness, when this chemical dries, is when it really penetrates into the cymbal. Rub here and there. There's a little dry area there. I think we'll put a little one more, just a little. Make sure. A little dab, and actually that's too much. Okay. We really want to get these edges off. Alright, we'll let it sit, I'll clean it. If you like, I'll show you. I don't know. See if it doesn't bore the audience. Let's see. See, it's drawing to a nice haze. See, that's too much there, I should have taken that off. Okay, and we still have the final. So you see the ring here, it's still there. I have to redo that. I might have to do sometimes, several times, to get a good effective cleaning. But let's turn this off and I'll be back. Okay, we're back. About a minute later. Look at this. Super dirty. Super dirty. You can't leave. It kind of looks black. Like the blackness does not come off. What's the technical term for that? You'll see that that's what the paint thinner is really for. Look, this has got some kind of stain there. Wonder what that is. Wonder what caused it. And this is when you try to rotate the napkin to get a nice clean dry spot consistently. When you see that you're now pushing the blackness see here, it hardly seems like it's done anything. See, the center's no problem. That's not where it's been touched. You always grab a cymbal from the edges. That's the problem. You're not. I'll handle my cymbals, well, I try at least from the center to avoid this. But regardless, when you're playing and you do cymbal mute, you're grabbing the cymbal from the edge. See, now the center looks just perfectly beautiful. But what's happened here on the edge? It's sort of like as it's been very porous and eating, just swallowing. There, looks better, but still there's that haze. See, and this is when you're doing this portion, you like to really go with the groove. Otherwise, you're keeping the gook in the grooves microscopically. Yeah, it looks like the cymbal's like reached the point of no return. And of course, if I had a buffer, like you've seen on other videos, I think that might be effective. I've never done that. I don't find the need I need a buffer. I mean, I'm not a professional musician. I'm not on stage performing for... This stuff came off onto the... You know, it's stuck there. Be careful to use it on your wood tops. You have trouble taking that off. Anyways, look at this. It is rather sad that you cannot combat some of the torture the cymbal's been through. Just on this end, the edges are rather... Let's see if the sound has changed. Doesn't sound much different to me. Maybe on the recording it will. But let me attack a little area here to see if this actually comes out. Need more? Look at that. How many times have you got to apply this to have a clean towelette? Look at that. Lord have mercy. I won't let it dry too much. See if it's more effective. It seems to be. I think drying times affect it negatively. Seems to be more effective if you don't let it dry for much longer than 30 seconds. Is that an improvement? I don't think so. Seems as though it's not going to go away. Now let's take the blaster or WD-40. I don't know what the difference is, but they're both metal cleaners and rust removers. Alright. Let's turn off the lights, see if we get a different view. Feels clean when you rub your finger, but it absolutely is not. Now let's see what happens here. Try the blaster. Tiny little drop just to see what the effects are. Alright, does everyone see that? Let's take a look. Wow, look at that. I don't know if you could see that on the camera, but you can see there's a lot more blackness coming out. And the cymbal cleaner gave up. This goes further. This goes a step further. But something I would like to show you, what I've discovered is that WD-40 kind of pushes it rather than grabs it. Eventually dries and you still have it there. See if it looks different without the light. You see there, I don't know if you can see that. See the dirt is pushed out to the side. That's the major difference I found with the paint thinner. Of course, you know, you mustn't read the instructions, you use them in a very ventilated area. Use a paint thinner. This does a better job of, look at that. Just look at that. It does a better job, actually. And the paint thinner is rather very very, what's the word? I guess dense. Penetrates better than any other material or any other liquid I've come across. So it goes all the way through. You don't need to continue getting more. This pushes it out further, but also I think it does a better job of taking it off the cymbal. Always go in one direction so you're not bringing it back and forth, which you are essentially if you continue using the same towelette regardless. Let's take a dry one. No paint thinner, and look at that shine. Let's see. Tell the difference? Try some more paint thinner in the same area. Seems as though it's getting cleaner. That one particular area keeps coming off. Now let's see how far I need to go to get it all off. Is this really cleaning, or is it an illusion? It looks like it is in fact cleaning it. I would love to douse this in a tub of paint thinner and see what happens. Look at this. It's amazing. Paint thinner does an amazing job. Buffing it I don't think would have the same effect because it was just circular motion in the same area. I think I might just accumulate the blackness into one area and keep it there unnoticed as it dries. Look at that. Keeps coming off. Incredible how dirty a cymbal can get. It's amazing to me. Wish I were a chemist to know exactly what's happening here. How to avoid this type of build-up. Watch it be eating the cymbal, making it thinner and thinner. Who knows, maybe that's what's actually happening. I don't know. Maybe someone can shoot a nice comment about this. A chemist, someone who knows what's technically, truly going on here. This was just my idea to bring out the paint thinner and see what occurred. This might be actually sanding down cymbal. That's why I keep getting this cook in a very light form. Right, I think that's enough. We'll continue for shit and giggles. See what occurs. Very peculiar what happens here. Look at that. It's like, are we ever going to finish? Or am I just dragging the same dirt over to the next area? finish the side like this finally, because we could be here forever. Let's try the top. Look at that. Lord have mercy. It sure makes it shine. I was going to redo the edges here with cymbal cleaner. Look at that. Let's turn off this light, maybe get it better. It's very shiny. I'm pleased with the shininess of this paint thinner. Let it dry a little here. So far, let's see what it sounds like. If you ask me, it's a lot crisper. It has improved the sound. Look at this. You still get the gook. It continues. That's just amazing. Why? What's going on? What is the chemical reaction that is actually occurring here? Well, for $1 gazillion, I'd be able to put this in a lab and find out. Look at that. Just look at that. It continues to come off. You see that? It's crazy. Can a cymbal never finish being clean? That's enough. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of more cymbal cleaning. Looks pretty nice. Try and get all these stains off. But please send us your comments and ideas. And thanks so much for watching Mobile Freedom Enterprise.